Dude, I for one take way too many photos. In fact, I have over 60,000 photos saved on my computer, which is just absolute hoarding levels. When I go out to shoot, I end up taking way too many photos of things that I'll never look at again. That adds a lot of stress to both the process of photography and the process of looking at your photography. So I've come up with a little bit of a solution to this. My solution is in the form of a challenge, and that challenge is to go to a location and literally take one photo. That's it. One photo. No second chances, no redos, literally one shutter button press. And to make it more interesting, the location is randomized. I generated a random coordinate. This time it led me to a mall, which was a little bit awkward to walk around with a GoPro on my head, but I survived and I headed towards my generated coordinate, which was just outside the mall. So not only am I tasked with literally just taking one photo, but that photo is actually also going to be on my wall after I do this challenge. So it's not like I can just forget about a poor result. I'm actually going to have to stare at it for months while I make more videos. So heading to my coordinate, I noticed a stop sign, which was honestly not a great photo, but hey, at least I'm trying. It was at this moment that I also decided that I'm going to be taking a photo in color because, by the way, I cannot edit this JPEG. It is going to be straight out of camera with Fujifilm's color science and film simulations. My previous attempt on this challenge, I took it in black and white, which I was very happy with, but this time it just kind of felt like I wanted to bring some life into the photo with the greens around and the blue sky. Walking a little further toward my coordinate, I noticed this interesting guy working on the pavement with a sign near him. This felt like a lively, interesting subject, but it was also a little bit awkward because I didn't want to just run up to him and snap a photo. I framed up the men working sign, but it honestly felt a little bit too political, so I moved on. After dilly-dallying for a bit, I heard a funny sound and realized that Bart was going right by. I didn't have the confidence to go ahead and snap the picture already, but this gave me a bright idea. Ooh, what if I got like a really motion blur shot of the Bart going by? That might be cool. You see, my coordinate had basically landed on the Bart track, which kind of pointed to the idea of shooting Bart with a camera. To do this, I wanted a little bit of motion blur in my shot, but I still wanted to keep the aperture wide open, so I made a quick pit stop to add an ND filter to my camera. An ND filter basically is a fourth variable in the exposure triangle that just lets you take down the amount of light coming in and allows you to shoot wide open or shoot long exposures midday. With the ND filter equipped, it was time to check the BART schedule to see just how long I would have to wait until the next train came. But as I was checking the schedule, I was interrupted by another funny sound. It was Bart. So, acting fast, I jumped on this pole and I took the photo. Unfortunately, I accidentally had the camera in burst mode, so I did take two photos, but I'm only going to count the first shutter actuation, not the second, so that's fine. And I also got so caught up in the moment that I didn't realize that there was another Bart train coming from the right. What are the chances that Bart came from the left and right where I was standing? But, oh well. You get what you get, and that's just part of this challenge. It's not like I can wait around for that to happen again. I already took my photo, so I'm headed home, and let's see how this looks on my wall. Overall, I think the photo looks fine, but what's more important is that this taught me that you really don't have to take 30 photos in one session to get a special photo. You can literally focus all your attention on one photo, and it kind of makes it even more special. Doing this challenge adds a lot of importance just to that one frame you get, because if it's shit, you're screwed. So I'm gonna keep doing this challenge, and it's rewiring my brain in a way to focus on quality over quantity. As I mentioned earlier, 60,000 photos are on my computer. It's impossible to manage all those files, and it's kind of stressful. We don't need to do that to ourselves. Now, am I gonna go and delete all those photos? No, because I'm a little bit of a digital hoarder. But going forward, at least maybe I won't be hitting that shutter button just as much. Subscribe if you want to see the next episode. And if you can't wait 2 weeks for the next one, here's the last two that I uploaded. Enjoy.